Money. Money is not objective. Money is an abstract and manipulable thing. However, you might be thinking, but wait, for my labor at work, being stuck in a concrete box doing all those fucking spreadsheets, I get paid an hourly rate, or I get an annual salary, and my pay rise each year goes up in accordance with inflation. And when I go and buy my groceries at the store, they too go up with inflation. My pay is tangible. It has connection. It represents the labor I provide, and it represents the goods that I purchase. Well, please consider, firstly, that house prices have been rising above the rate of inflation. And for most people, housing is where most of their income goes, to either mortgage repayments or to the rent that you have to pay to your landlord. So why are these prices going up higher than inflation? Well, of course, there are many variables. But the main reason is debt culture. Basically, people, our culture, now finds that it's reasonable and acceptable to get a big mortgage that will take them a huge portion of their lives to pay off. They do this because they think that's just how much property costs these days. Although they think prices are just going up and up. Look at that fucking graph. It's just going up. You can't argue with the graph. So if I buy now, I can sell later at a profit. So because people can borrow a huge amount of money, this means that they are willing to outbid each other for a property, which results in prices being high. High because a way of thinking, a culture, a debt culture, results them in being high. So, although your pay, which is the money you receive for your labor, stays about the same each year, its relationship with the cost of housing does not stay the same. So anyway, say you buy a house, pay off the mortgage, now you own it. I guess you think, I've worked at my job, made 1 million Excel spreadsheets, all that labor for money. That money has now resulted in me owning a house. So basically, my labor equals the house I own. And then you go and rent out that house. You get people to pay to live there. You pay a property manager to deal with all the bullshit from those tenants. And at the end of each year, you have made $20,000 profit from all the rent the tenants paid, with no involvement from you, no effort. But wait, you own the house, right? The bricks and mortar. And that represents the labor of all those years making Excel spreadsheets. Why are you getting $20,000 a year for doing nothing? The property manager is managing all the bullshit with the tenants. You are just sitting there, doing nothing and getting paid. Why is that? Your labor still equals a house, and the house still exists, yet you are getting money for doing nothing. Well, this is what is called a passive income. That's right, there's a term for an income you get for doing nothing, being passive. There are a bunch of other examples of passive incomes. So what the fuck are these types of incomes tangible to? This is why people bitch about capitalism. If you have money, you can use that to buy something, like a house. Something that other people can't buy because they don't have as much money. And because they can't buy that, then you can coerce them to pay you money to live there, while you sit there and do nothing. This is why the rich get richer, because the money they have allows them to utilize such strategies that others do not have the ability to utilize. For example, this is why a rich person could set up or even buy an airliner, and then start profiting off millions of passengers. How the fuck could someone working at McDonald's do the same? But moving on. Another example of how money is not tangible is with stocks or even cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. A stock or a Bitcoin has no tangible or true intrinsic value. The value is basically what people, or in other words, the market, is willing to pay for it. To highlight the absurdity of it all, if you bought $1,000 of Bitcoin in January 2010 at $5.50 a Bitcoin and then sold them at their peak in December 2013 at $1,200 a Bitcoin, you would have made 218 times your buy-in price. That's $218,000 from investing only $1,000. Now you only risked $1,000, so the risk is pretty much non-existent, and only took 2 hours of labor to buy and sell the stuff. So it's not as though your labor resulted in those gains. What is the profit of $217,000 in this case tangible to? It has no absolute relationship to the effort someone puts in. Then there's the whole thing of 1 hour of labor in a factory in the West gets someone $20 of pay, whereas 1 hour of labour in China gets the worker only $1.50 of pay. Yet the work's the same, and probably even less safe in China. But the shit bought by both the Western factory worker and the Chinese factory worker is both made in China. Think about that one. Anyway, people, one could go on and on about this. If you think money is still this objective representation of people's efforts or equates to the value of goods and that the rich got to where they are purely from their hard work, then yeah, good luck with your existence.